Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crystals and Coffee. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Becca and she's one of the founders of Pound Jewelry. And Becca not only makes jewelry, she also makes something very special, which if you aren't familiar with that, she's going to do a little bit of Pendulum 101 with us today and to share how you can use one of those pendulums. And there is Becca.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm
good.
Am I synced okay? Like, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Totally. I can hear you and see you. It looks like you just had a little rainbow on your face.
I do. I have rainbows on my face. It's in the window.
It's because you're magical.
Totally. Oh, thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure to see your face, lady.
Ditto. Where are you?
I am in Pennsylvania right now, and I've been here for 11 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in St. Louis at my mom's house.
I am at my mom's house too.
Twinsies,
living in my childhood bedroom.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Running the biz from my 16-year-old self's bedroom.
I mean, yeah, my bedroom is currently my sister's old bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And because I didn't grow up in this house, but my sister went to high school here. My mom grew up in this house. I have lived in this house multiple times, and I am living in this house again. But for me, because I run the business with my sister and my mom, and obviously living with my mom, and my sister Mia is in St. Louis as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually been going quite well because everything that I need for the business is here.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. So
because things are a little weird with sourcing and postage and trying to get things to places right now.
Yeah, I mean we have run into a few of those issues with getting sourcing chain and sourcing stones, but we do have a lot of inventory here, and we're kind of getting creative with what we have here and some of our old stock as well. Because we have everything in front of us. I mean, my mom had been collecting stones and crystals and components for jewelry for like the last 45 years. So we have some stuff that we haven't used in years, but we're looking at how we can maybe play with it and create some new stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So it's been kind of fun.
You're like going into the archives and just getting crazy.
Exactly. So that's been fun.
Well, I was hoping you could tell everybody who you are and what you do and how the heck you got there.
Yes, I will. So my name is Becca, and my mom and sister and I started this jewelry business about 10 years ago as an idea, as a concept. And the reason that we decided to do this was because my mom had always made us jewelry growing up. She'd always been very creative. She always made all of our dance costumes, all of our Halloween costumes, and she loved beading and making jewelry. And so for every dance that we had, for every major life event we had from ages like 7 on up, she would make jewelry. When I was living in New York City, I lived there for 8 or 9 years. I was working as an occupational therapist, and I had come home on a holiday. I had found an old necklace she had made from many years before. And I was like, this is in style right now in New York, and we're going to start a jewelry business. And she had never sold her jewelry. She just made it for fun. And I started wearing it. I started bringing back old pieces that she had made when I was like in middle school, high school, wearing them in New York City, and they were attracting attention. So I started telling her that I was selling them, even though I really wasn't, and to make more. And so she made more, and she kept making more. And then we actually did start selling them. And she was very resistant to the idea of starting an actual business because she didn't have the confidence or think that they were good enough. And I kind of just kept reassuring her, like, I'm in New York City and girls like it. Come on, I'm selling them off my body. Let's go. And so she would make more. And then it attracted more attention. And I started reaching out to friends who were in the graphic design world or who had marketing experience or business experience, small business experience, and just gathering enough information that we could put something together. And we did. And it was a very small side gig probably the last 5 years. We've really every year started to, probably mostly the last 4 years, we've really started to put a lot more time, focus, energy, dedication to it and make it what it is now. So,
and who does what at your business? How do you three ladies divide and conquer?
So I do a lot of the directing. Like I do all the social media. I do most of the writing. I would say on Instagram, we've tried it multiple ways, but I am definitely like the voice of Pound. My mom hand makes everything. We have one assistant that helps her. I help design at the design table, but she hand makes everything with one assistant. And my sister does a lot of photography and graphic design. And if I need a collage, she's an artist in like that. She studied art, she studied photography, she studied film, and she has a lot of skills that are like in the back, like kind of on the back end, not back end, but like hidden. She's not in the forefront, just like I throw a lot of ideas by her and she makes them better. Yeah. Very creative.
So you're like the front woman, excuse me.
I'm the front woman. I'm the loudest. I'm the bossy pants. I am, I'll have an idea. I'm kind of an idea person and I'll throw out ideas to them and they're like, and then I'm like, and make that happen. Let's make that happen. And then, I do.
What sign are you, lady?
I'm a Gemini.
Oh.
Virgo rising, Scorpio moon.
Oh. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I know why we get along.
You're a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo with a Sag rising and a Scorpio moon.
There we go. Yeah. 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 My mom actually is Virgo rising and Scorpio moon as well. We have the same rising and moon. And then my sister and my mom are Capricorns. So they're just like very hardworking. They're very dedicated. I'm kind of all over the place, a little bit flighty. However, the three of us together, we end up making it work and we have a lot of fun. At events or when we travel, we travel with my friend Rochelle, who leads these movement retreats called Koya retreats. And my mom is like the shining star at those. She's very bubbly. She's very, she's like the mother of everybody. She's like biggest heart, super open, super welcoming, and makes everybody laugh. And so she becomes like a big external personality at like live events or in-person events. You've met her,
Yeah, your mom's amazing.
Yeah, she's like everybody's mom. Everyone who meets her is like, can you be my second mom? But yeah, I take control of the social media, Instagram, stuff like that. And it's because I love it. Like I like to give voice to the Stones and I've developed a pretty strong, intimate relationship with them and getting to know how they work and how to work with them. That's my passion. And so I'm able to sort of channel that into, you know, expressing it for other people so that they can learn, or people who have questions about what stone is good for them or what the healing benefits or how to use a pendulum, they come to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see we're both, we're twinsies in many ways today. I see we're both rocking the pound jewelry, Herkimer diamond.
Yes. This is
one of my favorite pieces.
Yay. It's such a rad stone. Like, I love, it's probably it is my favorite crystal right now and has been for a while. Just because I love the story of the Herkimer diamond. I love how strong they are. They take 500 million years to grow. They're actually pretty rare. They're more rare than a diamond. And they're just, the clear quartz is one of the most clear, obviously clear, but magnifies energy more than any other crystal. And the Herkimer diamond to me is like 10 times that, because it's so pure and so clear. And with the double termination of like a point on top and bottom, allows energy to flow both in and out. And so I just think they're stunning. Yeah.
Well, I was hoping, especially because I was also telling everybody on my stories that we were going to talk about pendulums today, because
I know
that is always a big discussion, and how do you use them, and what the hell are they, and what do I do with them? And I don't know if you actually know this. I have one of Becca's pendulums right here that has the pound hand on it. I actually got introduced to your pendulums before I met you. Yep. And I'll tell you why. I was at a boardroom table with a corporation, and I was there doing a wellness event. And this is a really long time ago. And I saw this girl at the other end of the table reach into her shirt and like pull out a necklace, is what it looked like, right? Mm-hmm. And then, she was just being kind of weird and secretive about it, and like stuck her hand under the table. And I was like, what is she doing? And I looked under the table and I was like, oh my God, that's a fucking pendulum.
Yeah.
And so I went up, and it was one of these, and I went up and was talking to her, and I was like, what is that? Where did you get that? And she's like, oh, it's a necklace, but it's my pendulum, and I wear it to work. And, and that was actually the first time I got introduced to your brand. And then we actually got to meet in person. But I think that the fact that you can wear your pendulum as jewelry and it does double duty it's amazing.
Yeah. So the story of the pound pendulum is kind of a funny story. So we had some pendulums. Again, my mom has been a collector for a really long time. So she has all sorts of crystals, stones, rocks, beads. And she had a pendulum, and she didn't know what it was. It was just that she liked the crystal. She liked the shape of it. And she had these hands, these fists, these brass fists that she had gotten forever ago as well. And she just put them together. And originally when we started the business, all of our jewelry was very big statement pieces. It was like really detailed. It was lots of howlite spikes and bright fuchsias. And it took each piece took a lot of time and a lot of patience to put it together. Hours. They were just like big statement pieces. Mm-hmm. And then she put this pendulum thing together with the fist. And I was like, no, that's not pound. Like, pound is like big and bold and like warrior-esque and like has a lot of weight to it. But she made them. My sister wore one in Costa Rica at a retreat, and everyone wanted one. And then I started researching what they're actually used for. Like, I knew what a pendulum was from having taken physics class and things like that, but I'd never used one. And so I researched how they're used in healing and how they help you sort of tap into your subconscious or your intuition, much more right brain than left brain. And I started playing around with them. And then we started researching meanings and healings of stones more and getting accustomed to the stones and working with the stones. And then the pound pendulum became multiple different minerals, multiple different crystals, and it's still our biggest seller. And what I do love about it is we made it into jewelry because we liked the way it looked and it felt. And from there, it came from an intuitive place. She created it without doing it on purpose, without an analytical plan of, we're going to put this with this, and then we're going to sell them like this, and they can be utilized as jewelry in a pendulum. It was all really just an accident. And then later finding out and using the pendulum for how it's been used for thousands of years to access more subconscious, subtle, auric, energetic movements of the body, makes it even more powerful and fun and diverse. So a lot of people who use the pound pendulum wear them because of the healing property of the stone, because it's good to have that on your body as jewelry. And I'd say more and more people are starting to now also use them as like a guide to tap in more to your intuition and like inner knowing. And the thing that I want to say most about that is that anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. I think that it's become in a way just like everything, yoga, crystals, ancient healing modalities has become kind of mystified, but anybody can do it. It's like actually lives inside of us that we're able to access our inner knowing. It just takes practice like anything else, especially in our culture, with the emphasis on left brain, analytical, linear thinking. This just takes you to a different place that requires some openness and some awareness and some imagination. But every pound pendulum comes with a pendulum guide. And the way that they're used is by asking simple yes or no questions. And each pendulum might have a little bit of a different way of communicating with you until you really get to know the stone. Or if you use, like Colleen, I know during your crystal workshops, you are amazing with the pendulum. And I've been meaning to ask you, like, when you do all your pendulums always go clockwise for yes and counterclockwise for no?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, they do. And also, I wanted to say, we'd love to have while we're talking, we'd love to have questions.
Yes, totally.
Too, where please ask questions. But yeah, mine always has spun into certain directions. I thought too, Becca, because I think, people are super fascinated with working with the pendulum, but I've found, especially as getting a lot of people through my door as clients that are sticking their toe into the mystical waters or just starting their journey as a healer, they're like, I know I'm supposed to use that thing, like it feels right, but I don't fucking know how to work with it. Could you show everybody how to do it?
Totally.
Thanks, lady.
Yeah, of course. So the way that I begin working with the pendulum is you want to first find out how it is going to answer you. So a lot of times, not always, yes is clockwise, no is counterclockwise, and maybe it will just kind of swing back and forth. Some people get their pendulum answers them opposite ways. So the first thing to do is just to kind of like clear your mind, as if you're like emptying a bottle of water. You want to allow your brain to be in a more meditative, still space so that you're not bombarded by lots of thoughts. So key is like calming the nervous system, grounding yourself, clearing your space, clearing your brain, your mind. That's step number one. Step number 2 is just kind of like holding your stone. Maybe it's one you've worked with before. If it's a new crystal or new stone, or you're not used to working with a pendulum, just like allow yourself to energetically get to know the stone. So allow it to get to know you. Allow your again, out of your linear thinking and more open, imaginative, right brain side to open to the energies of the stone. And then the best way to start with it is by asking it really simple yes/no questions. So like you can ask, I don't have like the best setup, but I'll try over here. You can ask your stone, like, is my name Becca? And I usually give it just like a little swing back and forth, but is my name Becca? And this is one I've been working with for a little while, especially the last few days. So mine always do what Colleen's do, which is clockwise for yes and counterclockwise for no. So yes, my name is Becca. And then you can stop it and you could ask it a few more yes questions. You can even just say, show me yes. And you can say, show me no, whatever works for you, but simple yes/no questions. You don't want to ask it a question that would have a detailed answer, because that would be confusing. So simple yes/no questions to start with, and just getting to know which way the pendulum is going to speak to you. So that basically is how I start working with them. And then I'll ask, like, should I move to LA? Should I?
Yes.
Things like that. Which what I love about it most is that I'm getting answers that I know deep within myself, but they just haven't come up to the surface, or they're not in my like conscious awareness yet. And so it really is just a way of getting to know and trust myself better by listening to the pendulum. Mine usually swing like a little bit gently, slowly. I feel like yours swing like so fast that they almost fly out of your hand, Colleen.
I've gotten hit in the face and the tit before by my pendulum.
Yeah, I mean, show how you do it.
Well,
how fast yours go.
I don't have a lot of space here, but I'll do my best. Okay, so I know for me, I'm gonna get hit in the fucking face, but whatever. So I know that my yes is clockwise. So I'm going to take a deep breath. Both my feet are on the ground. I'm tapping in. Is my name Colleen? That is a yes. See, it hit me it's hitting me in the glasses, everybody.
Oh, God.
It's hitting me. So that's my yes. And then I'll calm it down. And then is today Sunday? We know it's not. There we go. Is today Sunday?
No, I don't think so. During quarantine, does it matter?
Every day is fucking Sunday in quarantine.
Yeah, so basically, like, that is, you just have to, I mean, people often get really impatient or frustrated. Like, I got a pendulum and it doesn't work for me, but it's not going to work right away necessarily. And a lot of that is because you don't actually trust it to work. So for me, working with a pendulum, even just working with the healing benefits of a stone or crystal, is believing and trusting that it can work, and then opening your mind to allowing it to. And then once that happens, once you start doing that more often, you get just much more used to being open, right? And then the pendulum or the crystal gets much more open to working with you.
Yeah.
They're not just going to fix everything. Just because you get a black tourmaline doesn't mean negativity isn't going to come into your life, or that it's like they are here to work with you, but you have to work with them and trust them and get to know them. And with the pendulum, it takes patience. It takes a little bit of time. But again, you just ask it simple yes/no questions with a clear, meditated space within and without you. And let it show you yes, and let it show you no. And then you can ask it yes or no questions, just to clarify that.
I think it's also important to remind people, because we keep talking about the clockwise, counterclockwise thing, that for somebody, a yes can be north to south, or east to west, or also pendulums will actually, you can feel it will pull and like shake really quickly. That also can be somebody's yes or no.
Totally. And different ones, I mean, like you said, they all do the same, go in the same direction for you. But sometimes I've heard many people who have multiple pound pendulums or other pendulums, and different ones will do different things.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
in general, they are responding to you and to your subtle movements, into your subconscious and intuition. So in general, most of them will do like give you the same response.
Yeah. I think, something else people ask, how do I know if a pendulum is mine?
You can ask it.
I think exactly. You can ask it if it's yours. And that's a very good point. But let's pretend we're in quarantine and all you have is the interwebs to find a pendulum, and you find yourself 1 pound jewelry and you're like, you know what? I like these ladies' pendulums. This business is run by a bunch of fierce girl bosses. I need one of these. And I think that what you do, really, you and your family do such a beautiful job of describing what each stone is about, so that I think for somebody that maybe isn't into this yet, or a novice, or actually is like, no, I literally know what stone I want and I just need to find it, or knows what's ailing them or what they want to call in, that I think you guys do such a beautiful job of making sure it's very clear to your audience about why you should pick a certain pendulum or not pick a pendulum.
Yes.
And they also have babies. So like I have the big mama, but Becca, they come in the tiny version too, the pocket size.
They do. They come in the little 1/2 pound size, which we initially made for so many women friends who have kids, and their kids were stealing their pendulum, obsessed with their pendulum, grabbing their pendulum, often breaking their pendulum by dropping them. And so we made little ones for kids, but like adults love them too, and I love them too. And I'd say more adults wear them than kids, but they are really fun. You know, if you want to get like a lower price item for someone who's younger, who is susceptible to losing or breaking it, and you don't want to spend that much money, or if you just don't want to wear something that big and you like to wear more dainty, like higher up jewelry, that works as well. And they work. I mean, a pendulum is a weighted object on the bottom of a string that, it responds to gravity, and dowsing and divining using a pendulum they've been doing it, like I said, for thousands of years to find it. The purpose of a pendulum is to find a hidden object, to find a hidden source. And what I love about that, it's used to find coal and water. And what I love about that is that I use it to find a hidden source within myself, because everything comes back to remembering and reminding yourself that you have all this wisdom and knowledge. It's just that we forget over and over and over again. And if a pendulum is a tool that helps you remember that you do indeed have the answers, it just can be an external representation or tool to remind you of that, to bring you back to center. And the beauty of it is a practice that makes you be present, and intuition always happens in the present moment. So I use it a lot just to focus and center me. And one thing I want to say is, if you don't get the answer that you want, like if you ask the pendulum, am I a banker? And the pendulum says no. Or like, should I go into accounting? And the pendulum says no. And you're like, but I'm going to school for accounting. And so it's answering the part of you that knows deeper. Like it's answering the part of you that sees the fullest expression of yourself, that sees that you're not just your title, or that you're not just your job. It sees the part of you that is like unseeable and unnameable. And that I also love, because at first glance, you're like, no, just tell me like the simple, literal, linear answer. But energy doesn't work like that. So,
it does not. Could I share with you how I like to use my pound pendulum?
I would love to.
So, first of all, just because, Becca, you know how much I love crystals, that I think for myself and with clients, you can actually, use a pendulum to pick crystals or pick anything, really. Totally. So to show people, so you're like, well, what am I supposed to do here? So I have clear quartz here, which we know is an amplifying crystals. And then I have a carnelian, which is around emotions, creativity, and sense of community. And if I'm like, hey, pendulum, what crystal do I need to work with today? What do I need to keep in my pocket? What do I need to meditate with? So I'm going to ask, do I need the carnelian? It said no. And then I'm going to move over here. See, it slows down. It's still. Do I need clear quartz? That's a hard yes. Mm-hmm. So you can actually use your pendulum to ask what crystal to work with, which tarot card is yours. I've even put it, especially with like my, corporate clients, teaching them to use the pendulum over business documents, or like, which person do I hire, to kind of get some gut confirmation. Even when I'm in teacher mode, though, at shaman school, how I use your pendulum is that I'll actually run the pendulum over the body to see which chakra is out of alignment, or like somewhere on the body where dis-ease may be coming up, and the pendulum will show you every single time.
For sure. I was going to mention that because I don't use the pendulum for crystal healing or chakra balancing, but a lot of people do. And it will point, I mean, what I've heard from many, many crystal healer friends, or just in general energy healing friends, most of them use a pendulum to find like which chakras are open and which chakras are blocked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was really interesting for me that when I was learning to do all of that stuff, I like the idea because one of my teachers said, just use your hand. Mm-hmm. And so it felt really good for me. Like I would do my hand and see if I felt heat over the chakra that was afflicted. Yeah. And then I would also use my pendulum because I just wanted to have, a second opinion, if you will, or to get that secondary confirmation to give me the confidence when I was learning.
Absolutely. It's like a validation.
Totally.
A lot of people also, and I don't do this, but a lot of people also use them to, if you have diet issue, like you're figuring out your diet, what foods are good for you, or what foods are causing inflammation or allergies. Mm-hmm. People use it over different foods.
I've totally done that. Yes. What Becca's mentioning, either I'm sure people have also heard of like muscle testing foods, but this is
exactly.
It's a muscle test of sorts that you can actually use the pendulum over top and help you figure out what you should and should not be eating. So the pendulum is just, there's so many uses for it. And Becca, you actually were very kind. You offered to gift a pendulum to somebody that's listening. So we have to pick a question to answer. And what is that one? What do you have there?
So this is amethyst.
Amethyst? Okay.
It has these amazing striations in it. The reason I picked amethyst for the giveaway, I had a couple of ideas, but the reason I picked amethyst is because, especially if you're new to working with crystals, or if you're new to working with pendulums, amethyst is just like a gentle, it's like a gateway drug. It's like a gentle gateway to the spiritual world. And it helps us connect more with that divine inner knowing. It's third eye, crown chakra. It helps us tap into and connect more with our intuition. in like a gentle, soothing, loving way. So I picked amethyst. This is a really amazing amethyst we got at the Tucson Gem Show, and it has these striations, like almost like chevron shapes within it. So she's a beauty, and we have to pick a question, but also I just wanted to tell everybody really quickly that you can adjust your palm pendulum to any length. So the clasp hooks into any length. So if you're afraid of like banging it and hitting it while wearing it, you can wear it like a choker. So that's just a side tip.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that side tip. That's super important.
Yes, it is.
Because you wanted to go with every neckline, lady. I mean, let's not forget that side of things.
Totally.
Okay, so let's see. We have some questions here. Let me look. There was one, I think, way at the beginning. Let me see here. Okay. This is going to be our person here, Elizabeth K. Do you have to use your left hand, or can you use your right hand when using the pendulum? This is a good question. She's saying she's right-handed and feels like she gets a better response with that. So that's going to be our winner. But I'd love to hear what you have to say, Becca.
Oh my God, that's a really, really good question. And I should actually play around with that because I always use my right hand. Just because it's my dominant hand and I just started doing it that way. So it makes sense that you would use your left hand, but I've always used my right hand. Do you have a preference on that?
Yeah, it's interesting, especially I have my own way of using that and teaching that. And it was interesting when I was writing my book, I went around and was asking every single healer friend, literally like a survey, how do you do it? Right. I just want to know what your process is. And I hear people very, firm on, I use my dominant hand. Then I hear people that also say they're very firm on using their non-dominant hand.
Interesting.
The way that I've always taught it is that we know that the left side, or the feminine side of the body, brings information into the body, and the right, or the masculine side, information leaves. So because we want to call information in, I ask people to use their left hand to bring the energy in. So that's just kind of been my process on it. But again, there's, at the end of the day, there isn't a right or a wrong answer there. And I've really found that out from just, asking hundreds of healers, how do you do it?
I don't think that it's possible that there's a wrong answer. Like, I mean, my typical answer is like, you can't really do it wrong because you are your best source of information. So I would say what feels better. I would say play around with both. Colleen has a specific way of teaching it and utilizing it for herself, but I've always used my dominant hand, and I think that's just because intuitively I go to that. And I trust my intuition because that's what this journey has been about. So it's like, I think with people ask me a lot of questions, not so much on pendulum use, but on charging or cleansing or clearing crystals. And I do have some prescriptions, but most like general ideas of what one can do. But in general, or most specifically and importantly, you always know, like when you listen, like whatever is coming up for you as truth is usually the way to go. So I would say you don't have to use your left hand.
Totally. That's right. And that's what, this is one of those great questions, because you ask 1,000 healers, you're going to get 1,000 answers on this one, I think.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I think one thing that could be important to mention, though, is at least maybe some guidelines around how to actually hold a pendulum when you're using it. So the two ways I've seen, and again, maybe you're going to offer something else. I either see people that they'll pinch it like a crab claw, right? That you want to kind of get it like this and hold it so the energy is coming down like an arrow. Or I've seen, like my teacher taught me, which I don't do, is actually holding it over your hand like this and letting it swing. How do you hold your pendulum, Becca?
When it's a pound pendulum with a long chain, I wrap it like how your teacher showed you. That to me feels more comfortable. If it is just a pendulum without being a long necklace, I pinch it.
So you do it both ways.
I'm a Gemini. I can't stick to one thing.
That's right. You're a switch hitter.
I change.
You're just like, I do both.
Yeah, but so if it's like a shorter one, but like with this chain hanging down to me, it gets distracting. So yeah, I wrap it and hold it like that. Oops, you can't.
Okay. There you go. Well, you got a lot of hearts for that, Becca.
Yeah. So, so I guess how do we do this giveaway? You can send her address and info.
That's right. Elizabeth K. All you have to do is DM Becca at Pound Jewelry, and you can give her your address, and you guys can take it from there. And I want to thank everybody for listening, and of course, I want to thank Becca and her magnetic tribe of girl boss family that is running this amazing business. You're my favorite. I send all of my clients to you to get their first pendulum, or perhaps their second, because they love the first one so much. So I really appreciate what you do. And also, even from a fashion perspective, I really appreciate that I can also wear my magic.
Thank you, Colleen. You've been such an inspiration, and also just helped really pave the way for so many to open themselves to the world of crystals. And I'm so grateful for having joined some of your workshops and been in the presence of all the amazingness that you're creating. And thank you for having me on here. And this was really fun for me. This is my first Instagram Live interview, so I was a little bit nervous, but now I've done it, and I'm grateful to you. Thank you for bringing me on, girl.
Lady, I've been popping a lot of people's IG Live cherries. I have to tell you, lots of people.
Yeah, I was really, when I did one Instagram Live by myself. Before I did it, like I announced that I was going to do it, and like 5 minutes before it, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to, no way. Like dripping in sweat, and then it's fine. It's not a big deal, but I don't know. I just got a little bit, getting a little bit nervous, but this was really fun, and I'm getting better at it, hopefully. And I'm just really grateful to you.
I'm grateful to you too, lady. Thanks for giving me your time, and I look forward to hugging you and seeing you in person and getting a matcha and doing all the things when we both get back to LA and out of our parents' house.
Totally. Well, okay. I don't think my mom wants me to leave, but I have to figure that one out. But it's been great, actually. We've been having a lot of fun. But I miss you, and I can't wait to see you and hug you as well.
I miss you too, lady. But I've got you with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't take it off. So it just lives there and floats there.
Be connected this way forever.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Becca.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.